No, no, you're too kind. You are too kind. Welcome back to Big Mouth and welcome to Big Mouth Live. Is anyone going to come in tonight? Is it going to be one of those dead nights when nobody comes in and I'm just sitting here like a donut? I don't know. All three people are in the chat. I've been saved. I thought no one was going to come in tonight and I'll be just going. But three people are here. Join the chat. Well, two people are here now. So please join the chat so I can begin. Welcome back to Big Mouth. This is Big Mouth Live. John, hi, Mick. I love the Batman 89 profile picture, my friend. That is awesome. Right. We'll wait a bit more because I want to prove to you what a piece of work Grace Randolph is in a minute. Let's get a few more people in the chat. That is such a good profile picture, John. So awesome. Right. It doesn't look like anyone else is coming in right now. So should we get on with the show? I think we should get on with the show, right? This is the piece of work that Grace Randolph is. I also wouldn't be too hard on WB execs for having some reasonable concerns. John, thank you. You're welcome. If Batman has mental health issues, is it appropriate to sell toys of that character? Oh, hang on a minute. Are we going to be biased towards people with mental health now, Grace? To use him in theme parks. Grace, what theme parks? This isn't fucking Disney World. There are no theme parks, you fool. Let's see what Marvel does with Moon Knight. And isn't this typical Grace Randolph? Whenever she starts a conversation about DC, she strays over to Marvel. How can you compare the Batman with Moon Knight, you absolute idiot? Leroy Kong, hello, great live. Hello, Leroy. Yeah, so let's read that again because this woman is a piece of work. She really is. I also wouldn't be too hard on WB execs for having some reasonable concerns. If Batman has mental health issues, is it appropriate to sell toys of that character? So what she's saying is if someone's got mental health issues, they're not worth anything, right? She is actually being inflammatory towards people with mental health issues, right? Is it appropriate to sell toys of that character? Yes. To use him in theme parks. There are no theme parks, you idiot. Let's see what Marvel does with Moon Knight. Honestly, right, the woman is a nut job. Leroy Kong, again, DC will always be a win for me. So that's Grace Randolph, right? Basically, I think this is what's happened. This is Warner Brothers. Matt, Batman's got mental health issues. Well done for having commentary about mental health. Studios like all that. They love it. They love, this kind of commentary. If Batman has mental health issues, right? And let's face it, if you saw your parents killed in front of you, you would have bloody mental health issues. John, what is wrong with her? Well, this is her, mate. This is what kind of piece of work you are dealing with, right? It's mental illness phobic, isn't it? Why wouldn't you want to sell toys of someone who's got mental health problems, right? Jesus Christ, I've had my bouts with mental health, right? I should be, to be honest with you, I have meds I'm supposed to take. I don't always take them. I use I meditate, so I don't have to use the meds because the meds just pretty much turn you into another person, into a vegetable. Leroy Kong, Grace Randolph is a hack. Right. This woman has no information. She's even talking about having him in theme parks. This is ridiculous. WB, Matt Reeves needs to come out and put this to bed because this is absolutely ridiculous. So that's that. But I have more for you. Now, this is about Rick Flag in the Suicide Squad. Now, I already know about this because I've seen a 90-minute test screening. Scott Edwards, what's up? I'm just having a mental fit about Grace Randolph being inflammatory about mental illness. Rick Flag's tough exterior and dedication to his service make the West Point graduate the perfect candidate to lead a supervillain task force. Assigned to Argos by director Amanda Waller, Flag has remained loyal to the ruthless boss, and task at hand, he assisted her in recruiting a team of prisoners for Task Force X. The buyer of the book's military specialist fell in love with June Moon after freeing her from possession of the mystical being Enchantress, a mission that proved himself worthy of becoming the field leader for Task Force X's next job, destroying Jotunheim, the old Nazi-built prison experiment facility, freeing its war prisoners and taking down its current tyrannical dictator, Silvo Luna. So this is obviously taken from some kind of, I don't know, it could be Empire magazine giving, maybe there's character synopsis. So what I like about this, Scott Edwards, can I send you some articles to read on here? I'll take a look at them if they're an interest to me, Scott. If they're not, I won't read them, but you can certainly send them to me, because obviously I don't want to bore everyone else. So yeah, you can send them to me. So basically what I like about this is that it seems that Rick Flag's arc continues from David Ayer's movie. There's been a lot of talk about James Gunn's The Suicide Squad being some kind of reboot. Now, of course, I have knowledge of the film, and I can tell you it's not a reboot. It's a continuation of David Ayer's 2016 movie, and this is evidence of that. Leroy Kong, The Suicide Squad is already added to my top 82 greatest movies among my 19 DC involved. Awesome. So we got two things to discuss. Now, I think we need to go back to the mental health issues of Batman. Now, Batman's always had an element of mental illness, hasn't he? Right? This is a young man who saw his parents murdered. Close your eyes and imagine how you would feel. Leroy Kong, 19 DC movies, sorry. How would you feel if you saw your parents or people you cared about or anyone killed in front of you? Wouldn't you have some bouts with mental illness? We've seen it. We've seen it with Keaton's movies. We've seen it with Bale's movies. We've seen it with everyone apart from the 1960 Batman, 60s Batman, of course. So there's nothing different here. Now, Reeves may be going a bit darker with it and a bit deeper with it, but there's nothing wrong with that. And to say that someone with mental illness can't be displayed at a theme park, and there's no theme parks, by the way, so I don't know what she's talking about, but can't have toys sold of him. Do you know how horrible what she said is? She's saying people with mental illness are not bankable. They're not marketable. That is a horrible thing to say. And if you suffer with mental illness, you need to unsubscribe from Grace Randolph. It's a disgraceful thing to say. Disgraceful. And I can't believe people actually follow her and quote her like she's some kind of good source of information. It is absolutely disgusting. And I don't know what everyone else thinks of that, but I think for Grace Randolph to say that, someone with mental health issues shouldn't have toys made about him, that's a big statement. Scott Edwards, I send them both to you on Twitter. Ronnie Dodge, hi mate, what's Grace done now? Well, let me read it out to you. Yeah, I will read those articles for you, Scott, but let me just read something out to my good friend Ronnie Dodge. So, where are we? Yeah, right, Ronnie, this is what she said, right? I also wouldn't be too hard on WB execs for having some reasonable concerns. If Batman has mental health issues, is it appropriate to sell toys of the character? To use him in theme parks? What theme parks? Do you know of any theme parks Batman was going to be in anyway, Ronnie? Let's see what Marvel does with Moon Knight. What's that got to do with the price of cheese? How are you comparing Batman and Moon Knight? I know that's supposed to be their version of Batman, but please, a ridiculous statement. Scott Edwards, the Suicide Squad will be mainly set on Corto Maltese. That is correct. So let's read the two articles that Scott sent to me. So first we're going to read one about Supergirl. By the way, right, while I'm reading these articles, don't stop chatting. I'll still read your comments. I'm very rolled up about Grace Randolph. I'm excited about the article I read about the Suicide Squad. That was kind of interesting. Supergirl's true finale could be an Arrowverse crossover in The Flash Season 8. Supergirl may be coming to an end, but The Flash Season 8 offers Kara Danvers an opportunity to get a proper finale by Jackson Hayes of CBR. The CW's Arrowverse is in a bit of a transition period. It's coming to an end, my friend. After the franchise's flagship series Arrow came to an end, shows like Supergirl and The Flash, Batwoman, and the newly announced Superman and Lois were set to pick the reins, but things haven't necessarily worked out that way. Late last year, the CW announced Supergirl's 6th season will be its last, leaving the Girl of Steel's future in the Arrowverse up in the air. Thankfully, the 8th season of The Flash will provide an opportunity for Kara Danvers to get the send-off she deserves. Right, can I be clear here? This is absolute bullshit. Once she's done, right? You can't finish her story on somebody else's show, but who knows? Because of the coronavirus pandemic complicating production and the massive scale of crisis on Infinite Earths, the Arrowverse went without crossover this year. Things will be back to normal this fall. However, as The Flash will begin Season 8 with 5 event-like episodes that feature Barry Allen teaming up with other heroes, the characters set to join the Scarlet Speedster have yet to be revealed. But if there's anyone that deserves one more crossover, it's Supergirl. Why? Why? We've had her for 6 years doing jack shit. Back when Supergirl was still on CBS after 1 season and it being axed, by the way, Barry made his way to Earth 38, because they were desperate to bring up the ratings and interest. 38's National City to aid Kara in a mission to take down Livewire. In the years that followed, Supergirl only became more and more part of the annual crossovers, to the point where she was just as synonymous with them as The Flash and Green Arrow. Unfortunately, less than a year after the hero officially joined the Arrowverse's equivalent of the Justice League in Crisis, it was revealed her show was coming to an end because nobody's watching it. But without a crossover this year for Kara to say proper goodbyes to the other Arrowverse heroes, it feels as if her story will be incomplete. No, not at all. Not at all. Making a potential crossover with The Flash all the more important. Nope. By joining Barry Allen on one last mission, Supergirl can go depart the franchise during the event, just like Oliver Queen did in Crisis. Well, maybe without having to lose her life. Having Supergirl return for a crossover after her series ends also opens the door for future appearances. While the first season of Superman and Lois had minimal connections to the larger Arrowverse, things will change moving forward. You don't know that. That's not going to happen, my friend. And who better to drop by the Kent farm than Kara? Not going to happen. Supergirl may be coming to an end, but that doesn't mean the girl still has to say goodbye for good. Supergirl stars Melissa Benoist as Kara Danvers, blah, blah, blah. So a pointless little article there, but thanks for sending it to me, Scott. There's one more coming about Superman and Lois. Ronnie Dodge, is she for real saying about mental health? The guy saw his parents, where are we? Oh, he retracted it. Thanks for that. Right, anyway, yeah, that took me out of it. But yeah, right, what they're saying is that Supergirl should be allowed to be fitted into this 5-episode crossover thing. So each episode will have different DC characters, right? I believe most of those crossovers will be, well, we already know Black Lightning's going to be involved. I would rather people who are still active in the universe. I don't know if they have any future plans for Melissa Benoist's Supergirl anyway. I personally think they're wrapping Arrowverse up, and I think they're creating a brand new kind of superhero TV universe that will be exclusive on HBO Max, and I think Superman and Lois is part of that as well. And so you can't just squeeze her in to a crossover just to accommodate her. She gets her goodbye. Now, if Barry wants to be in the Supergirl finale, if they can put Barry in that finale so he can say goodbye to Kara, I'm fine with that. But I don't see the point of squeezing her in when her show's already done. Ronnie Dodge, is Grace for real? Bruce's parents died in front of him. Of course you're going to have mental health problems. Something like that will stay with you. This woman has no heart. Well, what's worse for me, Ronnie, is saying that someone with mental health problems shouldn't have toys about him sold and shouldn't be in theme parks. That's a disgusting thing to say. I think the studio would be pleased about mental health commentary because they love all that. So anyway, she's talking shit. She doesn't know anything. She's just trying to rinse this kind of non-story dry. Scott Edwards, no reason Cara can't be in the 5-episode event and appear on Superman and Lois, in my opinion. The problem is, Scott, what's the point? What's the point? You might as well reference the DCEU characters before Flashpoint. I think that would be a bigger crossover that people would prefer. As I say, if they want to put Barry in the series finale of Supergirl, that's fine. But you can't just squeeze this character in for no particular reason. What you're going to have to accept, Scott, and I know this is going to be hard, I believe the Arrowverse is being wrapped up and a new TV universe, Green Lantern's Corps, Superman and Lois, that will all connect, and I think Diggle will be involved somehow in all of that as well. Scott Edwards, I love Supergirl as a character. Scott, I love Supergirl as a character. That's why I don't like the Supergirl TV series. I love Helen Slater's Supergirl, and I'm very, very excited about Sasha Calle being introduced as Supergirl in the DCEU, and I think that's very exciting. But to squeeze her into these, and look, it may happen. I could be wrong. But personally, I think there's other people I'd rather see. I'd rather see some DC. I think they're going to put some DCEU characters in this crossover. I think that might be a pre-Flashpoint situation. But who knows? Do you think the Batman could be rated R? It's an interesting one. I don't know. I mean, it could be, but then again, maybe they want to have it for a more, progressive audience, to try and, get the mainstream audience. We know Joker made over $1 billion with an R rating, so it's not impossible. But I would think they would want as many people. They would want to appeal to a broader audience. So maybe not, John. Anyway, one last article from Scott Edwards. Joel Davis, hello, Mr. Mickey. Who is the GOAT footballer in your opinion? Eric Cantona. I was watching Finding Eric. What a film that is. The man's a movie star as well. Who can boast that apart from Vinnie Jones? And Vinnie Jones movies have been shit. Scott Edwards, do you think Supergirl will be Kara or a different iteration? I don't think she's an Earth 1 version, Scott. I don't think she's a DCEU Earth 1. I think that you missed it. You've missed the conversation. Me, Bobcat, Ronnie Dodge have all been discussing where she could be from. We can already see she's going to have dark black hair in her version of Supergirl. I think she's going to be someone who's been on the streets since coming from Krypton. She's street smart. She's aggressive. She's a little bit bitter at first. And I think that will be very interesting. Ronnie Dodge, but their comments are disgusting. Whose comments? Ronnie Dodge, such a Supergirl will be a lot better in my opinion. I agree, Ronnie. Yeah, so I think she could be another Earth Supergirl. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe Barry finds her in the new Earth he creates and brings her with him. How he can do that, I don't know. I know the super family can travel fast, but not the speed of light. So I'm not sure how that's actually going to work. But we'll just have to wait and see. But I don't think she's Zack Snyder's Supergirl, for example, which we saw a prequel comic and she was blonde. So that's interesting. They're going to have to make sense of all of this for us, and I can't wait to see how that plays out. Right, one last article. Thank you, Scott, for sending it to me. Scott Edwards, this may make me a pariah here, but I'll never be ashamed of my love for Arrowverse, lol. Well, you know my opinion, Scott, and of course you're entitled to love whatever you want. That's what these platforms are here for everyone to have a different take. And I will never shout that take down as much as I can because I'm very passionate about my own takes. But I've already told you, Arrow Seasons 1 and 2 are as epic as the Dark Knight trilogy, and Flash Seasons 1 and 2 are probably the best live-action DC I've ever seen. And it may even be beating Smallville, and I love Smallville. But after that, Scott, for me, it was despicable. There was man-hate. Don't worry, we're taking you to Wonder Woman's Island. Don't worry, there's no men there. Listen, it's not for me. It's not for me. After those first 2 seasons of those 2 epic shows, it went downhill for me, Scott. Black Lightning is the only saving grace, I feel. The rest of it, I mean, if you go onto TikTok and you see the mocking of Flash Season 7, I mean, it's embarrassing for the CW, it really is, but you're more than entitled to be proud of your love. And you're not a pariah for your love for what you love. Unfortunately, I can't sit there and put myself through something I just can't get into. I can't just watch something because it's DC. It has to be good DC or I'm not interested. Superman and Lois retcon theory. The Arrowverse is setting up Doomsday. Wow. Scott Edwards, you still did like the crossover events, right? I thought they were good. I thought there was good elements in all of them. I think sometimes they kind of missed the trick, but I think for their budget and what they're doing, yeah, they're pretty cool. And I do enjoy them, yeah. And I think it's good that they do them. So, the Arrowverse may have cleverly set up the DC Comics villain Doomsday as a future big bad for Superman and Lois, potentially as a big crossover. Why are these journalists obsessed with crossovers? By Andy, whose surname I can never pronounce. A big Easter egg in the outstanding Crisis on Infinite Earths may have set up Arrowverse's take on the Doomsday saga on Superman and Lois. While there hasn't been a major Arrowverse crossover due to the global pandemic, the last one the CW did was a massive game changer for the shows going forward. After years of building up to it, the Arrowverse finally adapted DC's Crisis on Infinite Earths, the biggest multiverse storyline the CW shows have ever tackled. While the 5-part event paid tribute to all DC's past, present and future live-action properties, did it? It marked a new era for the Arrowverse. Well, I think you're wrong. As one phase came to an end for the Arrowverse, another one began. Yeah, a phase where they axed 2 shows, by the way. Anyway, end for the Arrowverse. Another one began, which now includes Superman and Lois, even though Tyler Hoechlin's Superman has been part of the franchise since Supergirl Season 2. And by the way, this Superman may not even be the same Superman we met in Supergirl. Nobody's even thought about that. They could be on another Earth. Not much is known about his history in this specific universe. There have been references and allusions to what this Man of Steel has been up to through his existence. Grace's comments are disgusting, Ronnie. She's disgusting. Ronnie Dodge, looking likely Sasha Supergirl will be Sir L. Are you listening? Are you listening, Scott Edwards? Looking likely Sasha Supergirl will be Sir L, which is an alternative universe Supergirl. She was a clone made using Superman's DNA, but made by Brainiac in the comics. That's the one I want to see. That would be awesome. Hey, Bobcat, how are you doing tonight? Bobcat, hey Mickey, hey Bobcat. We're just reading some articles. I was reading something about the Suicide Squad, but you weren't here. So where are we? As one phase came, blah, 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 but Crisis on Infinite Earths became a sort of reset as Superman and Lois has changed various aspects of Clark Kent and his family. Given that it's still only in its first season, Arrowverse fans should expect other modifications in the post-Crisis universe. However, Crisis on Infinite Earths may have set the foundation for the Arrowverse to one day introduce one of Superman's biggest villains of all time, Doomsday. With the continuity having been soft rebooted, the other shows have already been retooling various aspects, plots, and characters from the pre-Crisis Arrowverse. Bobcat, I saw the Suicide Squad in the title. I'll read it out for you in a minute. Dave Ethan, I doubt it, Ronnie, but we'll see. No, I think, Dave, that Ronnie's onto something, and I'd be happy about that. Bobcat, had a dental appointment. Oh, I hope you're not in too much pain. Bobcat, at Dave Ethan, I'm pretty sure that's the Supergirl we're getting. I agree, Bobcat, but we'll see. Since Clark now has his own ongoing TV show in the Arrowverse, you don't even know. You don't even know how much part of the Arrowverse it is. There is the opportunity to adapt one of DC's other iconic storylines, either on Superman and Lois or as a larger Arrowverse story in the future. Even though Superman only had a handful of appearances on Supergirl, his cousin's show was able to establish bits and pieces of what Clark has been up to as the Man of Steel. Ronnie Dodge, she could be Kara from another universe in the Flash movie. Dave Ethan, Bobcat, totally doubt it. But like I said, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. But you need to clarify, Dave, why you don't believe that's the case. She's got the black hair, like this version has. So why Is it something you don't want, or is there another reason why you don't think that's the point? Up to as the Man of Steel, but in Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1, less than stellar speller Lois Lane made a remark about Doomsday, establishing that the DC Killing Machine exists in this franchise, as she's mocking Clark for struggling with changing their baby's diapers. Lois brings up Superman having faced off with Doomsday, but unlike the events of the death of Superman, Clark seemingly defeated Doomsday on Earth 38. Hang on. Bobcat, people are saying Cruella isn't going to get a sequel, although it's already in development. Yeah, Bobcat, I was talking to a few people. It's been a successful movie. It's in development. The Hollywood Reporter and every broadsheet have been talking about this. So don't listen to unofficial people. I follow the main broadsheets and I talk to people who work in the industry. You need to come to me. It's happening. It's definitely happening. Listen to me, not to idiots. Ronnie Dodge, here in the UK, over 25s can book vaccine from tomorrow. Bit nervous, going to get some paracetamol on the ready. I'll get back to you in a minute. I've got some advice for you. Ben Pottimore, Lois references the multiverse when they find out Captain Luther is Jeremy Irons. So I think, oh, you mean John Irons, don't you? Not Jeremy Irons. So I think Clark and Lois are from the same universe as Melissa's Supergirl. I don't know. I don't know if this is the same Superman we saw in Supergirl. But we'll get back to that. Lois references multiverse when they found out, yeah, she knows about the multiverse, but they can come from a separate world from the Arrowverse and still know about the multiverse. Right, so Dave Ethan, I'm saying just because she has black short hair doesn't mean it's an exact version of that character. No, you're right. But there's a good chance as well. It's a 50-50, isn't it? But is there a reason you don't want that? Bobcat is probably the best live-action movie franchise Disney has. Well, I think it's hilarious, Bobcat, how they've been screaming that women must direct women. And what have we seen in the past few years? Women directing women badly and making bad movies. Elizabeth Banks in Charlie's Angels. And now we've got a guy directing one of the best actors in modern day history. And it's absolutely fantastic. And it's getting a sequel. Bobcat, it's probably the best live man. Ronnie Dodge, I saw Cruella a second time today. Loved it. Awesome. Now, about the vaccine, Ronnie. When they give you the vaccine, you won't feel the needle. I didn't. They had to tell me they did it. Your arm will feel like you've just lifted something heavy as time goes on. Take paracetamol before. I took it about 45 minutes to an hour before I did it. And then I took another two. I took 6 on the first day, and I took another 2 in the morning. I've seen bits and pieces of Cruella, so I can't really form an opinion on it. I haven't seen all of it. Bobcat question mark. Scott Edwards, one thing I'll say, it's cool to have a version of the Justice League where Kara and Clark are both founding members. Yes, that would be awesome. Unfortunately, the CW, by cancelling Supergirl, have made a statement that they've got no faith in her, unfortunately. They're the ones who messed her up. Dave Ethan, message retracted. Right. Had Clark actually... Now listen, right? This article is saying that he's fought Doomsday, but it isn't the death of Superman. No, that's not possible. Now, I know Tom Welling's Clark fought Doomsday and kind of beat him, but really? When I heard them mention Doomsday in Crisis, I just assumed, right, we've had that. He's already died and come back. But hey, who knows? Had Clark actually died in the hands of the monster, it would have been referenced. Why? How do you know? In the last seasons of Supergirl, something like Superman having died and come back from the dead isn't a plot they would have forgotten to mention. While it was a big Easter egg, it was clever of Crisis on Infinite Earths to establish Doomsday. Oh my God, I've lost my place. While it was a big Easter egg, it was clever of Crisis on Infinite Earths to establish Doomsday being someone Clark defeated before Superman and Lois premiered. It would be bizarre for a crossover to explain that his death and return happened years ago off screen. before Lois and Clark's spin-off show has debuted. Well, funnier things have happened. Robin's murder happened in the DCEU off screen. It wouldn't be a stretch for Crisis on Infinite Earths to have erased Superman's initial battle with Doomsday, as Superman and Lois have retconned other aspects from their Earth 38 history. Maybe because they're not actually from Earth 38, but you ain't thought about that, have you? Dave Ethan, I'm not saying that I don't want it. I'm saying I found it doubtful. If it's Sir L and Cole, yeah, it would be amazing. I personally think that would be an amazing version to do. Earth 38 history, initially Clark and Lois only had one baby son, Jonathan, as they revealed the pregnancy in the Elseworlds crossover. After creating Earth Prime, the crossover revealed their family history had been altered, as they had two teenage sons instead, Jonathan and Jordan, with Superman personally. The Arrowverse drama used the crossover to give Clark a new supersuit and even change his heat vision from blue to red. You keep on mentioning the Arrowverse. There's no evidence that they're connected to the Arrowverse, by the way. Superman suit, and even change his heat vision from blue to red. Even when looking at Lois and Clark's timeline post-Crisis, they got engaged before the Elseworlds event, which is when Superman proposed to her initially pre-Crisis. While Supergirl is for some reason still having the same visual look for their shared Fortress of Solitude, Superman and Lois has redesigned it after Crisis on Infinite Earths, because this Superman isn't from Arrowverse. Ronnie Dodge, did you see Emerald's comments about Zatanna today, saying it's going to be scary and dark, which is exciting? Yes, I did read that. I forgot all about that. It's very exciting, isn't it, Ronnie? Yes, she says it's going to be dark and terrifying, and there's going to be fights. And she said that's the reason she was motivated to do it. So people who are saying that DC is going down the light and fluffy direction, wrong again, Zard. Joel Davies, Mickey, who's better, CR7 or Messi? I'm going to say Ronaldo because I'm a Man United fan. I think Ronaldo's been all over the place. Messi's been too scared to leave his little Barcelona. Messi's a great player, but I would say Cristiano Ronaldo. Richie Mo, now then, Mickey, sorry I can't stay and offer a couple of jars to chase some skirts. Too low. Have a good one. Have a good one, Richie. I hope you get some results. Hey, Ben Pottymeyer, if you think about it, the Elseworlds crossover Clark and Lois took place on the Smallville farm set. His new house is different. Exactly. I don't think they're connected to the Arrowverse at all. I actually think the Diggle we see has crossed to a new Earth when he comes to see Superman and Lois. I don't think this is not connected to Arrowverse at all. Have you seen anything? He doesn't even wear the same suit anymore. He doesn't even have the same history. He hasn't mentioned Kara once, unless they've forgotten for some reason. I don't know. Ben Pottymeyer made a good point there. Ronnie Dodd, cheers about the heads up about the vaccine. Yeah. So yes, it won't hurt initially. Some people are affected with flu symptoms because you do get the influenza virus in the vaccine as well as COVID-19. Your muscles in your legs will feel a bit stiff as well. Nothing too bad. Hopefully for your sake, you don't get the flu symptoms like a lot of people had. I didn't get that. So I basically just take some paracetamol, but don't overdo it. Superman and Lois have also even reimagined the Supergirl characters Sam Lane and Morgan Edge because they're not part of the same universe. When are you going to understand this? Who Dylan Walsh and Adam Rayner now play, despite being in the same universe? No, that you have no evidence that they're in the same universe. It makes sense why the Superman and Lois creators are using Crisis on Infinite Earths as an opportunity to do these characters differently. Those are the benefits of having a crossover that changes. Everyone's just obsessed with crossovers. To do these characters differently, those are the benefits of having a crossover that changes a franchise's history, like Supergirl ahead of an upcoming spin-off. It would make sense if Doomsday was name dropped the way he was, because that specific event would be erased anyway by the time Earth Prime was born. If they didn't want Clark to have defeated Doomsday in the original Arrowverse, it is logical to retcon that in case the death of Superman is an arc they want to visit on Superman and Lois. Richie Mo, drop the light for you, brother. I appreciate that. Ronnie Dodge, hope we get more Flash news this week. So do I. I think we're getting a lot of buzz now. David F. Sandberg's doing a lot of talking now. That's the film that really needs to be marketed a lot because they want to double what they made in the first one. They made 300 million last time. They at least want to make 600 million for Fury of the Gods. 600 million is a big win for a character like Shazam. But if Cavill is, like I think he is in Fury of the Gods, that film could get bigger success than you could possibly imagine. While the death of Superman would be a massive storyline for Superman and Lois to tackle, it could also serve as a future crisis-like Arrowverse crossover, even though it remains to be seen when these shows can come together again for another crisis-level crossover. The death of Superman would make sense down the line. This is a Superman who has been operating for over a decade and is well established within the world of the Arrowverse. You don't get it, do you? Seeing Superman and Lois lead into a multi-episode event with the franchise where they take on Doomsday would be a huge way to get the CW's Justice League together again. While topping Crisis on Infinite Earths will always be a challenge, there are still major DC arcs they can adapt, and the death of Superman is one of them. It would be pretty cool, but you know what I think. Gabriel's in on us. Hi, it's Christina. This is my niece, Christina. Hello, Christina. How are you? Ronnie Dodge, gonna go, mate. Eating my dinner. Take care, guys. Leave a like. See you later, Ronnie. Pre-Crisis on Infinite Earths, it never made sense for that storyline to be adapted since heckling Superman wasn't really integrated with the other Justice League heroes. Elseworlds was the first time Clark came into contact with Earth-1 character before eventually living in the same world post-Crisis. Before Superman and Lois premiered, the crossover had created a continuity where the heroes had always known each other and worked together for a more extended period of time. Retconning his original Doomsday encounter allows the Arrowverse to do the death of Superman as well as his return in a more fleshed out universe. It would probably be something they build towards for a few seasons, which would work just fine. In a way, a case can be made that the Arrowverse is possibly already leading for a Doomsday storyline. I don't agree. While he made it seem he was Captain Luthor, Superman and Lois revealed the stranger was none other than John Henry Irons, aka Steel, a big player in the death of Superman and reign of Superman. Even though they have a different dynamic right now, that doesn't mean Superman and Steel couldn't get to similar points like they were in the comics. Since Crisis on Infinite Earths gave Doomsday a clean slate ahead of Superman and Lois, this will hopefully lead to an Arrowverse story where Superman takes on the creature who is known for killing him in the comics. So that's interesting, but as I keep on saying, I believe that Warner Brothers Television are going to destabilize Arrowverse. I think that it's not going to be a thing anymore. They're already cancelling shows. Batwoman will probably have a couple of more seasons on the CW, but really we're coming to a brand new WBTV, DC TV universe, and I think Superman and Lois is a part of that. I think Green Lantern Corps is a part of that, and I think that's where we're heading. So everyone's obsessed with Arrowverse crossovers, and we're getting 5 separate ones in the Flash next year, which pretty much means next season that's all you're going to get, basically. They're your crossovers. That's it. And don't expect anything too big. Don't get too overexcited about it. Because I don't think this Arrowverse, and they're even calling it the CW verse now, they're doing it for a reason, right? They're changing things. You'll have a couple of Arrowverse shows on the CW, but the shows you're going to enjoy, the serious shows, will be over on HBO Max, and that's how I see it. And, thanks for the articles, God. Scott Edwards. Yeah, thanks for the articles, Scott Edwards. Nearly forgot your name there. Jesus is a goat. I guess I'm the oddball. I'm not a huge fan of crossovers. One of the reasons I didn't like Captain America Civil War, it should have been called Avengers Civil War. Well, I made that point. I love crossovers. I ain't got a problem with them. But the thing is, you're right. They cheat now, the MCU, so they can make more money. They just, ever since the first Avengers, it's crossover. This is why I always say that Feige lucked into it because of the first Avengers. So I think that's really hilarious. But I understand what you're saying about Captain America Civil War. Although they did focus on him quite a lot, it really was an Avengers movie. And if you read the Civil War comics, all the chapters of them, right, it wasn't a great version of that story either. But it was okay. I like the film. It's okay. Joel Davis, what did you make of Logan Paul surviving 8 rounds with Floyd Mayweather? Well, I don't respect the guy. I don't think his fights are real, Joel. And so I've got no respect for someone, by the way, who went into a forest and mocked someone who committed suicide. So I don't like the guy. John, I think Batwoman will have one more season. Maybe. I mean, listen, the show is not watched by a great many of people. The only people watching it are the Fandom Menace, so they can review it and slate it on their YouTube channels. It's not a successful show. It's not a well-written show. It's very sad, and I'm sad because Wallace Day is now playing Kate Kane, and I love Wallace Day. Wallace Day is a mate of mine, and she was on Krypton, and she was amazing. Gabriel's in on us. Hi, it's Maria. Hello, Maria. Hello, niece Maria. How are you? Batwoman isn't fit for purpose. I mean, do any of you like Batwoman? I mean, don't be afraid to tell me if you like it. Just tell me. And you can tell me what you like about it as well. Dave Ethan, have you heard the casting of Namor? No. Who is it? Gabriel's in on us. Good. Good. Who have they cast, Dave Ethan? And it all went quiet. Has there been an announcement, Dave? Or has Grace Randolph plucked the name out of the air? Maybe Elvis Presley. Oh, Cooper Hurd. This is interesting. This is interesting. Jesus is a go. I like the first season of Batwoman. I thought it captured the dark tone. I love so much about Gotham. I tried to watch it, and I'm sorry, Jesus is a go. I just couldn't watch it. Right. This is the news we're talking about here. So, if Tenet Horeta is Namor, as rumored, he could cameo in Eternals theoretically. The report of his casting for Black Panther 2 lines up with when Eternals reshoots took place. So Marvel could have secretly got him in front of the camera for a quick scene. So Namor is basically the MCU's, or should I say Marvel's Aquaman, and we'll see how they do with that. So Namor is really a character that I think Marvel fans have been itching to see develop for quite a long time. So that's very, very exciting news. And thank you, Dave Ethan. Thank you, Dave Ethan, for putting me onto that. As Ronnie's gone to stuff his face, you can be my breaking news person. Yeah, unfortunately, Jesus is a go. I just can't watch. I can't watch things that are blatantly, so overly, overtly, excessively alt-left political or any politics. There's no need for hate. And unfortunately, the alt-left hate a group of people and the alt-right hate a different group of people. And just like you don't get any commentary for the alt-right, and you'd be disgusted if you did, there shouldn't be any alt-left commentary, but that's who run Hollywood, I'm afraid. So I can't watch that show, I'm afraid. As I say, Arrowverse was great. First 2 seasons of Arrow and The Flash, sensational. Jesus is a go. Oh, finished Krypton season 2. Phenomenal, bro. Yeah, I haven't finished season 2, but I liked it. The show's brilliant. And it was an absolute crime that show finished. I tried to do a Save Krypton hashtag, but it never worked. People weren't following me. Jesus is a goat. Lobo is hilarious, yeah. Played by a British-Irish actor who was in Hollyoaks. Great actor. He was also in Guardians of the Galaxy, but you blink, you miss him. John, do you think Spider-Man 3 is going to have too many villains? Well, we've got Doc Ock, we've got Electro, and we've got Green Goblin. It could be, this is what I think they're going to do. I think Green Goblin will create this supervillain kind of team. So he will get Doc Ock. And actually, it's something I always wanted to see, Melina's Doc Ock and, William Dafoe's Green Goblin teaming up. And I never thought we'd see it. So I think these guys are going to team up. So no, John, I don't think Spider-Man 3 has got too many villains, just like I didn't think Batman Returns had too many villains. You can never have too much of a good thing in my book. And if it wasn't for this multiverse thing they were doing for Spider-Man 3, I wouldn't even be interested in it. Because I'm just not interested in Tom Holland's Spider-Man on his own. He just doesn't work for me. Not because of the actor, not because of the casting, but how they watered him down after Civil War. He's great in Civil War. Then they ruined him. And don't get me started on Aunt May. Bobcat, are you still here? If you're here, I'll read the article out. If you're not here, I won't waste my time. It should be like Zoom. You should see everyone's emojis lining up so you know who's in the chat. We actually got 12 people in the chat. So ask away, everyone. Come on. I mean, 11 people, that's like a big party to me. So, oh yes, by the way, all the critics have seen the first 2 episodes of Loki and are loving it. Some people say the first episode was a bit slow, though. I haven't seen it. I will check the first episode, or maybe it's the first 2, I don't know, of Loki on Wednesday when they premiere on Disney Plus, and I'll do a little mini review on the on Big Mouth Live in the evening, that evening. So we can have a good little chat about Loki, because it sounds like that's the start of this multiverse strategy for the MCU, and they're actually going to change everything. So that's interesting. I'm sure you'll all be watching Loki out of interest. It'll be interesting how they do their multiverse compared to how DC will do their multiverse. I'm very, very interested in that. We have 20 minutes of the stream left, so please comment. What always happens is people have got a lot to say just before I sign off. So this is your stage to ask. Maybe don't ask questions. Maybe you think, why should I ask you a question? What do you know that I don't? And that's fair enough. Just post some comments that I can react to then. That's fine. I think we should get Spider-Man 3. I definitely think that Spider-Man 3 is one to look forward to, at least. That's one thing we can say. Dave Even, got to shower. Catch you later. Peace. See you later, Dave. Jesus is a goat. Tom Hiddleston is a great actor, probably my favourite actor in the MCU. He's definitely one of the few success stories in terms of villains in the MCU. It's interesting. I mean, he just worked. I mean, he was a surprising villain for Avengers, the first Avengers, but he actually works. Scott Edwards, Spider-Man 3 will be Multiverse Sinister 6. I think they're definitely looking to set that up for the Sony Marvel universe, so that'll be interesting, Scott. As I say, I'm very interested to see how this works. this multiverse in the MCU, because this is a multiverse strategy that doesn't reset the universe. They're not doing what the DCEU are doing. So it's very different. Now, how this plays into the other movies will be interesting, of course, because it's not an era-defining, changing moment. I think they're playing with the multiverse rather than it changing everything. That's the difference with what they're doing. Scott Edwards, are you going to watch Loki? Definitely, definitely. I can't wait. Wednesday, I shall get up. As soon as it's on, I shall watch it. Probably watch it in the afternoon, actually. Scott Edwards, I hope Stargirl and Black Lightning are in 5-episode event. Yes, I suppose Stargirl has a possibility. It depends on their schedule filming for their episodes. So yeah, I mean, Black Lightning's definitely going to be involved from the mumblings I've heard. But you know, Stargirl, who knows? John, can't wait to see Green Goblin again. Yeah, I mean, look, that's what I mean. People love this stuff. This is why people are excited about Flashpoint and the new multiverse strategy at DC. People want to see things becoming canon and everyone crossing over with everyone else. It's what brings a broader audience. Now, the difference between the MCU and what the DCEU are going to do, the MCU set up these characters, so you'd be excited about the crossover. Of course, these characters are already established anyway in the DC live-action universe, so it's still going to be exciting. Scott Edwards, did you see the Doctor Strange concept art? I didn't. What was it of? It looks like we're not going to get any DC news. I think it's too late now. Zatanna. Let's try and find that quote about Zatanna. Scott Edwards, I'll send it to you on Twitter. Thanks, Scott. Who's seen the Soldier Boy picture? Jensen Ackles is finally in his costume and he looks amazing. And that's from The Boys. Let me just try and find it. Here we are. Here we are. So, Zatanna updates, which I think I'm subscribed to. Let me make sure I'm following that account. Right, that's followed. Right, so, in an interview with Empire Magazine, Emerald Fennell described working on Zatanna. There are lots of things about her that felt like they could be really interesting, and it'll be an opportunity to make something really quite dark. This is a thread, so let's go on. And that appealed to me, to make something big and scary. I love that stuff. The scale of these movies is so massive and so thrilling. Wow, says Fennell. Why wouldn't you want to write something like that when you can write huge, massive, crazy sequences and fights? She's right. Normally you like, how can I show this in the smallest, cheapest way? Laughs. To have complete freedom to really let your imagination run, which is such a joy. So, by the way, she's saying movies in plural, which is exciting. So I can't look. The DC live action universe, all of a sudden, has exploded. We've got films in development here, Zatanna, Blue Beetle. I'm so very, very excited. So this is going to be a darker thing. It's going to be expansive. It's going to be epic. Who knows who's going to direct it? If Emerald's going to do that as well. We'll have to wait and see, but that is exciting stuff. Anyway, let's see what Scott sent me. So this is it, is it? Right, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So this is the picture of the actual comic. And I don't know if you can see that properly. The lighting's a bit crap, but very interesting. It looks great. Thanks for that, Scott. John, I know it will never happen, but I would love to see the Marvel DC crossover. It's going to happen in the next 5 years. I bet you. I've been predicting this for ages. Jesus is a go. I'm looking forward to the Flashpoint crossovers. However, there's always a however, isn't there? I love that story. I was first introduced it to through DC animated movies. Yes, Flashpoint Paradox is fantastic. Obviously, we don't know what they're going to include from the graphic novel and what they're not going to include. I don't think the Amazonian Atlantean War is something we're going to see. Sad that they've chickened out about that. Scott Edwards, do you think Zatanna will be a theatrical or HBO Max? That's an interesting point. I think that Zatanna has got lots of potential, but they haven't told us what they're doing with that. But Justice League Dark is J.J. Abrams, and that's on HBO Max. I suspect Zatanna will be on HBO Max again. So, as I say, lots on HBO Max for DC live action, loads theatrically. This is a very exciting time. They're making loads of stuff. If you're a DC fan, you should absolutely be excited about this. And the only time you shouldn't be excited about this if you watch it and you don't like it. But people should at least give it a chance. Wow, so excited. 5 motion pictures in development, right? We have Zatanna. We have Green Lantern Corps. We have Blue Beetle. We have Batgirl. We have Peacemaker. We have Gotham PD. 5 over there, theatrically, and 5 over here per year. That's amazing. Scott Edwards, I just love everything DC from Arrowverse to DCEU. Yes, listen, I know you kind of just stand everything because it's DC and that's great. There's certain things I can't put myself through, but I'm excited. Definitely. And as I say, 5 projects on HBO Max, 5 projects theatrically. It's very even, it's exciting, and bring it on. And the sooner HBO Max is on a global scale, the better. The problem they're going to have is they can't stick big DC projects on HBO Max if other people can't watch them across the world. Edward Arnott, they already have their theatrical films and HBO Max films planned out for the next 2 years, so get ready for more. Exactly, Edward. People say they don't have a plan. Well, clearly, they've had a plan. And this is Ann Sarnoff. This is the beauty of Ann Sarnoff. She did a great job with BritBox America, with BBC America. She's a great add to Warner Brothers, whatever people think of her. Scott Edwards, right now I'm just excited for the Suicide Squad. So am I. You're going to love it. But as Edward Arnott says, there's a big plan here, and I'm so excited for it. Oh, and, you know, it's all about next year, really. I know we've got Suicide Squad, and that's exciting. But next year is when this thing kicks off. We could potentially have about 10 projects to see next year. Who knows? Maybe a bit less than that. But they've already said they're doubling down on the multiverse. Computer games, documentaries, movies, HBO Max, streaming stuff. It really is next year going to be an exciting time to be a DC fan. Jesus Christ. Edward Arnott, 2022 to 2023. 4 theatrical and 2 on HBO Max. Not including HBO Max series. Exactly. And then in 2023, Superman, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and who knows what else. So as you say, Edward, I mean, personally, as a DC fan, I couldn't be more excited. And I just wish I could see trailers and everything, but they're in development. So I'm excited. Scott Edwards, does the Suicide Squad have brutal, gritty action sequences? It does. That's why it's R-rated. You will see a bit of everything. Comedy, violence, everything. So James Gunn is outdone himself this time. Edward Arnott, are we still seeing connected universe, also including multiverse films, since James Gunn confirmed the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker are big within the DCEU? Well, this is the thing, isn't it, Edward? You would have kind of maybe thought that Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad wouldn't be interconnected with the rest of the DCEU. But because of that, that proves that everything's going to be connected. Because if a James Gunn property is connected to the outer DCEU, that means everything is. So I've made this prediction already, Edward, that what we're going to get is a multiverse Justice League that I'm theorizing will be led by President Superman when he's introduced in 2023 in his Superman movie. So we're going to have a multiverse Justice League, and he's going to be in charge of it, and that's going to have different characters. Brandon Routh's Superman maybe, Nick Cage's Superman maybe, definitely Michael Keaton's Batman, Batgirl, Supergirl. This is very, very exciting and interconnected, Edward. And I am so pumped for this. And I think if they get this right, this could be bigger. Finally, to have an interconnected, successful DCEU would be a beautiful thing. John, do you have an HBO Max in your country? I don't know. This is what frustrates me. Scott Edwards, does the Suicide Squad connect to the DCEU? Oh, yes. Edward Arnott, Scott Edwards, yes. Oh, yes. Edward Arnott, I don't know how I feel about that. Oh, I'm very excited. I want it all connected. I want it all connected, right? Now, look, what I would do if I was in charge of WB, I would have DC Studios, DC Black Label Studios, and I would have DC Elseworld Studios. So Todd Phillips would be the president of DC Black Label Studios. Now, in better times, in a perfect world, Zack Snyder could be in charge of the Elseworlds or somebody else, maybe someone who writes the comics. Leroy Kong, again, the Snyderverse can work in the multiverse. They better get it right. Edward Arnott, I just want to see some connective stuff. I'm tired of seeing small references. Well, here's the thing, Edward. You know, like Wonder Woman 84 and Birds of Prey, you know why they wasn't connected? Because they're just blank fillers while they were developing this multiverse strategy. So they said, do what you like. We're rebooting the universe anyway. Your films are irrelevant. So that's why I always say, Scott Edwards, is the Suicide Squad set after Birds of Prey? Yes. You will not hear much mention of Birds of Prey in the future in DCEU movies. That and Wonder Woman 84 are something of a bone of contention for Warner Brothers Pictures, as is the Snyderverse, of course. But I'd rather watch the Snyderverse stuff than Birds of Prey or Wonder Woman 84 any time of the week. Jesus is a go. I heard the Suicide Squad violence is going to be similar to Quentin Tarantino violence. You could be right. I'm not going to say any more than that. Scott Edwards, I'm interested to see how Harley is brought in. Yes, obviously, that's brilliant how it's done. Brilliant. Edward Arnott, do you know if Birds of Prey ties into the Suicide Squad? Does James Gunn know about the film continuity? Oh, of course he does. Yeah, of course he does. Listen, I'm going to say this again. Birds of Prey will have very little mention. They'll have, I suppose, I mean, I only saw 90 minutes of the Suicide Squad in a test screening, so I didn't see everything. But my theory is they will probably mention this and that, but they'll try and steer away from that film. And because we're rebooting the universe in Flashpoint, it's a good thing, so we don't have to deal with Birds of Prey. But you may want them to deal with Birds of Prey. You may like Birds of Prey. I have many issues with that film and Wonder Woman 84. I just think it's important now to get Harley Quinn right, and I think James Gunn's the perfect person to do that. So what you're going to get, Edward, what you're really going to get this connective tissue that you want and I want, you're going to have to wait from Flashpoint onwards. Then it's really going to be connective. Scott Edwards, they should definitely bring back Huntress and Black Canary. I think Black Canary, Journey Smollett has got more of a chance than Huntress. I think they'll disband the others. I really do. But Journey was very, very popular. And I know she definitely wants to come back. Edward Arnott, why are they rebooting with Flash if Shazam 2, Aquaman 2, Wonder Woman 3 after the Flash film? Right. Shazam 2 isn't called Shazam 2. It's called Shazam Fury of the Gods. And Aquaman 2 and Wonder Woman 3, they are all set, as you say, after Flash. And you will see that there are consequences. You will see that they are affected by the rebooting of the universe. This happens in the comics all the time, right? They reboot the universe, and sometimes they forget everything. Now, in this reboot, nothing will be forgotten, but the whole universe will be reset. I think it's the best thing going forward after what's happened with the DCEU since Man of Steel. So you have to reboot somewhere, because even if you reboot at the end of Wonder Woman 3, there's still other movies in the future. So you've got to do it at some time, haven't you? And obviously the quicker the better, because we want this to attract a broader audience. We want this to be successful. And what they're attempting to do already with all these projects and this kind of direction they're going in is the right way. And I think obviously Flashpoint is how they're rebooting the universe. So that's why they're doing it in Flashpoint. John, did you ever see the Birds of Prey TV show? I didn't. Edward Arnott, man, I don't know. Flash film is going to be that point if fans stick or break and move away from DC. Well, this is the thing, isn't it, Edward? It has to work. I've said this many times. This is a win or bust situation. The Flash movie has to work for the fans, for everyone. Critics have to love it. It has to make at least $1 billion. There's so much pressure around this film. What they do has to be embraced by the public. So we're going to see how they handle this. Because if they mess this up, they've got no way to turn. They've got nowhere to turn. Do they turn back to Snyder? Do they sack everyone and start again? It would be a disaster. So I'm just crossing my fingers that they know what they're doing. I trust Andy Muschietti. I've got an excited vibe about this. And let's hope it works out. Scott Edwards. So the Flash will erase the Suicide Squad, lol. Right. So basically, how it works is Leroy Kong, the Hamadaverse will not work. The Flash movie will fail. Right. Anyway, that's enough of that. So basically, what will happen is Barry will go back in time to save his mother. He creates a new universe with Michael Keaton's Batman. He then loses his powers and he needs to be struck by lightning. This is what happens in the comics and in the animated movie as well. Edward Arnott, I just don't understand why they're doing that. What does that mean after Flash? Does this mean it will be the 12th DCEU theatrical film or first? Confused on that? No, because nothing will be forgotten. Everything still exists, but they're starting again. So those films exist and they'll be remembered. There'll be kind of a history where these characters get total recall. They will forget at first. So they're still part of the existence, but they're not. It's confusing, but they won't be part of the canon. So it will be a reset. It will be a reboot. It'll be more kind of easier to understand once you see the film. It won't be confusing. And so basically, the characters and actors that they don't want to continue with, they can get rid of them and move on. Films like Wonder Woman 84 and Birds of Prey can just be forgotten. So they will pick and choose what will be deleted and what won't be. Now, of course, we know that James Gunn has teased killing a lot of people. And if you've got a Flashpoint around the corner, you can kill whoever you want. Well, I'll tell you why they're doing it, Edward, because the franchise hasn't worked for a broader audience, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to reset the universe, start again, so they can move forward on an even footing, so the DCEU can be a success. Jesus is a goat. BOP TV show was interesting, better than I expected, probably better than the movie. Wouldn't surprise me. Edward Arnott, yeah, I might click off from DC after the Flash film, as long as it's under WB. I'm just not going to be a fan due to this. They can't even catch up to Marvel with popularity. Well, listen, I don't think it's a consumer's concern whether they catch up to Marvel, make as much money to Marvel. It's about you, Edward. It's about you, Edward, and what you get out the movies. And I think I was having this chat with Bobcat this morning because he didn't really appreciate what I was attempting to say. Now, I like the DCEU movies individually, especially the Snyder ones. But in terms of being successful, you're talking about catching up to Marvel. Well, the Snyderverse was never going to catch up to Marvel. It was never going to happen because he wasn't attracting a broader audience. And this is why they're doing this. They're doing this to catch up to Marvel. They're doing this so they can be successful and appeal to kids and families and adults and all different types of people. We've just been talking about Emerald Fennell and Zatanna being darker, action-packed, epic. They're trying to bring in people who haven't been watching the DCEU. This is why they're doing this, Edward. But now, I mean, if you're a Snyder stan, you may not want this. But there's a lot of people who have been left out in the cold because of this. And they need to be able to enjoy their DC as well. John, have you watched any DC fan films? I haven't, John. I'm sure they're great. Scott Edwards, The Flash is basically what Days of Future Past was for X-Men. Yeah, but it didn't really change much in the end, that film, so I think this is bigger. That's bigger, because this is rebooting the universe. Edward Arnold, what I mean is, why reset when you continue since so many people will be pissed because of the Flash film erasing some stuff or recasting something? Well, the only people who are going to be pissed, Edward, are the Snyder fans. And this is nothing personal because I'm a fan of Snyder's, but the studio don't care about them. They care about the broader audience. That's why they're doing it. They're looking at it as bringing more people in. It's to keep on driving them away. That's the point of it, Edward. Leroy Kong, they will never catch Marvel. They are going backwards. Scott Edwards, Crisis on Infinite Earths basically erased all go Arrow low. Jesus is a goat. Definitely better than the movie, yeah, and I think anything would be better than the movie, right? At least he didn't lose any money. But he didn't make a great profit either. I can see, Edward Arnold, does the Suicide Squad film open up with a DCEU intro without spoilers? I didn't see a DCEU intro. It doesn't mean there isn't one. It was just a test screening, and it wasn't a full movie either. So you could get that. I didn't see that. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that or not. A bit late now. Oops, my YouTube's been shut down. Not really joking. I think we'll extend this for another 5 minutes because the conversation's flowing. I don't think the conversation's ever flowed this well. So I certainly understand what the studio are attempting to do. I love the Snyderverse, but at the end of the day, it's obvious to anyone, no matter how much you love Snyder, that in terms of making money and catching up to Marvel, as Edward said, it's not doing it, is it? They had to try something else. What they're doing is a gamble for sure. But if it works, they have hit the jackpot, baby. If it doesn't work, they are truly fucked. But they were fucked anyway. They were fucked anyway. So they might as well take this gamble. So you see, the difference between me and your other YouTubers, maybe YouTubers from the Snyderverse fandom, I have kind of a balanced opinion. I love Snyder's DC movies, but I talk in a balanced way. I'm not part of an echo chamber. I can see both sides of it. The stuff I know that happened behind the scenes. And in the end, you will all find out that it was as much Snyder's fault as WB's. There was no give or take from both sides. But I love Snyder's DC films. People know that, but I'm not going to pretend that, the sun shines out of Zack Snyder's backside, because that's not the case. For example, if they really wanted to restore the Snyderverse, then, Ray Fisher wouldn't have kept on coming out doing what he did. Zack Snyder wouldn't be exposing secrets that happen behind the scenes. It's not how you conduct yourself in this industry, and it's looked down on. But I'm proud to be able to do these YouTube videos and have even 10 people in here. I think it's great. I think it's great to have 9 likes and 10 people. That's fine with me. If the channel grows, that's great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's fine. Because I think the people who know me, who have subscribed to me, understand who and what I am, the way I look at things, the way I try not to create an echo chamber and try and be balanced about discussions. But I'm also very passionate about my films and my telly. There's stuff that I watch and love that I don't even talk about. And one day, maybe we should have an all-round chat about the history of TV, film, stuff you like, stuff that I like. Leroy Kong, again, Zach did nothing wrong. WBR falls. Well, Leroy, in an argument, there's 2 sides to a story. This is what I'm talking about, an echo chamber. You've got to look at the balance in life. Otherwise, you will never understand. You will never. How can there be an argument? How can it just be one side's fault, right? WB are a studio. They own the IP. They gave him $70 million. What else do you want him to do? Want them to do? They told him not to shoot stuff, and he shot stuff. When I was working at the Co-op or Toy Stack years ago, if I did something my boss didn't like, I would get the sack, wouldn't I? That's a logical response. I'm sorry. Again, I love Zach. I love his movies, but that's the way I see it. It's not the universal opinion. It's my opinion. That's what the internet's got to understand. Leroy Con, WB are cowards and clowns. Fair enough. That's your opinion. And as one of my subscribers and supporters who I appreciate, I respect your opinion. I think it's important to allow people to have their say. If I believe you're wrong, even if you're not wrong, maybe I'm wrong. But if I believe passionately you're wrong, I'll try and be an educationer, a tutor. But WB will come out with their side of the story. There's no question about that. I say that every night, every day. I believe it. I believe that WB will come out with their side, and I think it's going to blow people's minds. And it didn't have to be this way. I mean, they've been forced to have to come out because it can't carry on like this. You know, Wayne T. Carl as Green Lantern, John Stewart, wasn't cut out of racism. They're genuinely going to introduce John Stewart in Flashpoint. And Ray Fisher cast him. Ridiculous. The way Zach works it just doesn't work with a studio. Right, everyone, we're going to call it a night now. Thank you very, very much. It's been an absolutely fantastic stream. I've enjoyed answering your comments and reacting. Sorry, I'll say that again. I've really enjoyed answering your questions and reacting to your comments. It's been absolutely fantastic. I am here every single morning from around 9 a.m. UK time with the Big Mouth Daily Live. I'll read out articles. John, see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow, John. Thank you for the support in the comments. So I'm here every morning with the Big Mouth Daily Live. I read out articles. We update. We read all the updates, the entertainment news. It's a lot of fun. Leroy Con, great live. Thank you, Leroy, as usual. So as I say, it's been a great stream. Come back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. I'll be back this time tomorrow for the Big Mouth Live. Can't get my words out. So basically, every morning, 9 a.m. UK time, it's the Big Mouth Daily Live, which is a news update. And in the evening, we have chats like this with Big Mouth Live. So stick here on Big Mouth. I'll keep you updated with everyone. We'll react to each other's opinions. It's a lot of fun. This is not just a DC channel. This is an entertainment channel. This is about all movies, all TV shows. So if you want to talk about any other movies when we do the streams in the future, you are absolutely welcome. I am a big fan of the soaps, the British soaps, so I love them. I grew up with Dallas and stuff like that. I watched the sci-fi series, Alias 24, Lost, Minder, Only Fools and Horses. I love it all. I know so much about entertainment, and I've got so many opinions about all these different things, and I'd love to share them with you. So comment down below if you're rewatching this. Like, share, and subscribe. Share the video and the channel, and I'll be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. UK time, for the Big Mouth Daily Live. Follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mag. See you tomorrow. Thank you for your support. It's been wonderful. See you later. Jesus is a goat. Peace out. Peace out. Jesus is a goat.